ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
Mike was a rock-solid individual, and a lot of people are missing him right now.
The helicopter pilot killed battling that wildfire in Central California is being mourned here in San Diego. And good evening. I'm Steve Atkinson.
And I'm Kimberly Hunt. Before he flew water drops, Michael Fournier was flying Sky 10 for us right here at ABC 10 News. And ABC 10 News reporter Anthony Pura spoke with his friends who were devastated to hear about the crash. Anthony?
Those who knew Michael Fournier says he loved two things in life, his family and flying.
He would drive from Upland to Civic Helicopters in Carlsbad to get one flight hour every 2 or 3 days a month.
Leanne Fournier says there's no mistaking her husband's love for flying. Michael Fournier was the pilot killed Wednesday when his helicopter crashed while fighting a wildfire in Fresno County.
He loved each and every person that came into his life. Loved with all his might.
Mike, as his friends called him, has had an extensive career in flying. He flew for med evac companies, SoCal Edison, and in San Diego he flew Sky 10 covering the news.
Trained him in the Sky 10.
Kyle Anastasio says he's known Mike for 28 years. Kyle was the primary Sky 10 pilot. Mike was the backup pilot for about 2 years in the mid to late 90s.
He was a good pilot. He really was. That's why I think it's just so devastating.
It was always safety first.
Timothy Gahn was a photojournalist who remembers flying with Mike.
It's a period of time in which we bonded. We worked as a team. Before flights, we'd be all talking, joking, kidding around, having a good time. But once he got behind and we fired up the bird, it was all business. It's very, very sad what happened. It's shocking. I'm in disbelief right now on it there. But, if there's anything at all, is he passed doing something he loved and he believed in.
The NTSB is investigating the cause of the crash. There's also a GoFundMe page started by his family. We have a link to that on our website, 10news.com. Anthony Pura, ABC 10 News.
Our thoughts are with his family tonight. Thank you, Anthony. 27 San Diego County schools have gotten the green light to reopen after the state approved 8 more waivers today. Dozens of other schools are still waiting to hear back, but those that have been approved have a few things in common, and that includes the ability to maximize outdoor space. The waivers only let schools bring K through 6th graders back for in-person learning.
It became official tonight. Former Vice President Joe Biden accepted the Democratic nomination for President of the United States. ABC's Zareen Shah is in from Wilmington, Delaware tonight, where the final day of the convention was turned into a drive-in.
In front of hundreds of packed cars in the parking lot of the Chase Center, former Vice President Joe Biden making the case that he will be the best uniter in chief.
Here and now, I give you my word. If you entrust me with the presidency, I will draw on the best of us, not the worst. I will be an ally of the light, not the darkness. It's time for us, for we the people, to come together.
It's Biden's 3rd attempt at the presidency, but also his first as the party's nominee. Biden making the case to make Donald Trump a one-term president.
We can choose a path of becoming angrier, less hopeful, more divided, a path of shadow and suspicion, or we can choose a different path and together take this chance to heal, to reform, to unite.
Trump a few miles away from Biden's hometown, taking shots at the former vice president.
He abandoned Pennsylvania. He abandoned Scranton.
Fellow politicians who had one time either hoped to unseat Donald Trump or perhaps have a place on the ticket, now joining forces with Biden, throwing their support behind him at the last day of the convention.
I have gotten to know both Joe and Kamala on the trail over the past year. The way you really get to know a person when the cameras are off, the crowds are gone, it's just you and them. They're real people. They understand the problems we face.
As president, Joe Biden would never let tyrants manipulate him like a puppet. He would never pervert our military to stroke his own ego.
Joe Biden is right. This is a contest for the soul of the nation. And to me, that contest is not between good Americans and evil Americans. It's the struggle to call out what is good in every American.
Donald Trump clearly has been watching this event closely, already tweeting about Joe Biden. The Republican National Convention is next week. Zoreen Shah, ABC News, Wilmington.
Well, the convention was certainly reshaped by the public health crisis, but that may not be entirely bad.
There's not 20,000 people in the stadium cheering on the next nominees for the Democratic Party. However, it is a very accessible method of communication because it's being broadcast to everyone at the same time.
ABC 10 News spoke with Will Rodriguez Kennedy, the chair of the San Diego County Democratic Party. He says not only was this event more accessible to the public, it was less expensive for delegates. Will explained they can spend thousands of dollars on travel and lodging to attend a typical convention.
It's hard to find parking spots, and a lot of the parking has 3-hour limits.
And finding that parking space in PB, that could get harder starting tomorrow. Over 20 oceanfront parking spaces will be used for outdoor dining along Ocean Boulevard. Our ABC 10 News reporter Laura Acevedo shows us not everyone is excited about this change.
The change is temporary, but some argue that there should be alternate parking options in the meantime. On Ocean Boulevard between Grand and Thomas Avenues in Pacific Beach, there are 26 oceanfront parking spaces, parking that Lee Olson uses every day.
Those are probably the most highly used parking spots in the Pacific Beach area.
About 2 days ago, Olson says he noticed signs in front of all of the spaces saying there would be no parking starting Friday until December 30th for a special event. After asking around, Olson found out the spaces would be used for outdoor dining.
To lose that even in a short period, even for 3 to 4 to 5 months, it takes away from the enjoyment of the beach.
Olson says finding parking in Pacific Beach is already a problem.
It's not an easy thing for the local people. They know the routines.
ABC 10 News reached out to City Councilwoman Jennifer Campbell's office to find out more about the temporary change. A spokesperson confirmed the space will be for outdoor dining for nearby businesses and says the request was made and voted on by a group called Discover PB. The spokesperson also says the change was approved by the Coastal Commission. Olson says he understands businesses need to survive during this pandemic, but wishes the city had provided another option for parking in the meantime.
Provide alternate parking, or at least remove the tables and open the area up for parking until a certain time during the day.
We did reach out to the group Discover PB and have not heard back. Laura Acevedo, ABC 10 News. Schools in Poway may allow in-person classes sooner than expected. The Poway Unified School District initially planned for a reopening in January, but now they're eyeing November to return. The district will begin to reassess that in October. And the board says there's a break in the grading period during that time that would make the move less disruptive for students. The new plan is still dependent on San Diego County staying off the state's watch list. And the White House is declaring teachers essential workers. That means they can continue working even after exposure to the coronavirus if they're not showing symptoms. The designation subjects them to the same advisories as doctors and law enforcement officials. It comes as students go back to school nationwide. The American Federation of Teachers says the designation could be used to bully educators.
Despite a smaller return on positive COVID tests in our county, our 14-day rolling average held flat at 4% today. The county reported 232 new cases today, 2% of all tests reported. That brings our local total now to 35,608. The county also reported 6 more deaths, bringing that total to 644.
And turning now to our weather, we've reached the tail end of a heat wave, but as these temperatures start to drop, the humidity will stick around. Meteorologist Angelica Campos is tracking the possibility for thunderstorms this weekend. Angelica.
Hi, Kim. That's right. Our excessive heat warning is finally over. But of course, we can't sing victory yet because humidity is still around. And tonight, we're still in the 70s. Yes, it is 11 o'clock at night and temperatures are still at 71 degrees here in Oceanside. Upper 70s in Warner Springs, 95 degrees in Borrego Springs. just a warm night all around the county, even as we wrap up that excessive heat warning. In average for tomorrow, temperatures will continue trending above the normal, although the numbers are already looking much better. Places like Ramona will average only about 6 degrees above the normal. We've already seen temperatures well over 100 degrees, so we're making progress, but there's still a chance for thunderstorms, and some of them could become severe. I'll have much more in your 7-day forecast.
Angelica, thank you. The U.S. Navy did its part to help San Diegans avoid rolling blackouts during the heat wave this week. On Monday, the Navy began taking locally based ships off the city's grid. 22 ships are now operating on their own power supply rather than relying on the pier. The Navy says it has saved almost 3 million kilowatts, enough to prevent blackouts throughout San Diego. Miramar is also helping. The base turned on its microgrid, eliminating 6 megawatts from the city's grid.
Well, a person was taken to the hospital with minor injuries after a pontoon boat and 2 jet skis crashed on Mission Bay. It happened about 7:20 this evening near Government Island. 2 others were also hurt, but they didn't go to the hospital. It's not clear what led to the crash. Police say they can't determine if alcohol was a factor because the driver of the boat has not come forward.